Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. And we're into the new year now, so just want to say Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, and if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to our channel. We're pumping out 3+ episodes every week, so you want to stay informed and not miss anything. Just make sure you subscribe to get all the notifications. And today, we're talking about
the Death Star.
The Death Star.
The Death Star is coming into orbit. It's just turning, aligning, and it's aiming at BC. You know what happens when, the Death Star's coming?
Yeah, everybody leaves.
Everybody's leaving.
Right.
They want to get out of there.
Right.
Okay, so that's not what we're talking about today. But
people are leaving.
People
and
are
that's
leaving.
What we want to talk about.
People are leaving BC in record numbers, like a decade-high record number. So we're going to talk about the reasons why people are leaving. But where are they going?
Probably Alberta.
Probably Alberta. Yeah, well, that's one of them. That's where most of BC people are going, so most provinces in Canada have seen a decrease in their interprovincial net migration.
Okay.
So there's 2 provinces that have increased:
Alberta and Saskatchewan.
Alberta and New Brunswick.
In New Brunswick, okay.
I heard the mosquitoes are really big in Saskatchewan.
They can be pretty serious,
Like,
I think.
They're like this, you know.
I'll take your word for it. I've only
seen them on the windshield.
I went to Saskatchewan for a wedding years and years ago. The one thing about that is, so of course it's flat and straight highways, and back then the ghost cars had the big long antenna on them.
Oh, so you could spot them.
So you could spot them. So I'm driving back and I see this Mustang, nice looking Mustang. This must have been in the late 80s, early 90s. So nice looking Mustang, but with this smoking long antenna on it. So
it's a highway car. Yeah,
right?
Nice.
So I come flying down at the normal speed especially on the highway when there's nobody on it. And I just come ripping right up next to him. And then I slowed down to the speed limit and passed him and just drove. And he actually pulled me over. And he pulled me over and he said, "How fast were you going?" I said, "Well, what do you mean? I just passed you and I was just in front of you. You know how fast I was going." And he said, "Well, no." He said, "You pulled up to me like I wasn't even moving." "Oh, I did." he said, "Okay, well, get out of here," or whatever he said. But
he let you off. Okay.
Well, how's he going to? He doesn't know how fast I was going.
Right, but he knew you were going fast. Yeah.
He assumed I was exceeding the speed limit based on how quickly I pulled up to him and just slowly at the speed limit passed him and then moved over into the lane in front of him.
All right. So we're seeing record numbers of interprovincial net migration. And yes, it is going to Alberta in most cases. And what is it? I'll give you the positive net loss last year's number.
Okay.
So we lost 13,000 British Columbians.
Okay.
Mostly to Alberta.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we're losing population in the province of BC. We're actually up by like 2 or 3%. I'm not calculating it. It's a rough number. Because of international migration.
Okay, yeah.
So we have a positive international migration.
Sure.
So we saw an increase of 150,000 people come to BC internationally. That's our net migration. So some people still did leave, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty amazing that, BC is a beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
But, we're going to get into some of the things reasons why people leave BC.
Okay.
So this is going to be this is the obvious one, cost of living.
Cost of living.
Now, BC is a really big province. We have mountains, we have deserts, we're in a subtemperate climate on Vancouver Island. Something like that.
It's nice weather.
It's wet. We haven't got snow this year so far.
I don't think we're going to get snow
We better
this year.
not. I'd love it if we didn't, just to
Oh, we went out
and then
for,
get lots next year.
yeah, my daughter and I went for a nice hike on Christmas Day. It was about 10 degrees. Went down to Whitty's Lagoon.
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, it was windy, right?
I
We
know
had
it
lots
wasn't
of
so
wind.
bad. It wasn't that bad. It got windy last night.
Yeah. So, but real estate is expensive, right?
Yeah.
Rents are expensive. It kind of goes like with that demand.
Yeah.
Um,
BC has the highest rents in Canada.
right now,
Yeah.
you know, on average, I'm sure throughout the province, then, right?
Yeah, they take an average number. The biggest increase was actually in Alberta. Saw a 2-digit increase in rental amounts.
I guess, yeah, that's what happens when everybody starts moving to that province, right? So, rent, gas, taxes,
Yeah.
right? We have all the property transfer tax, we have a speculation tax, we have a carbon tax. I don't know, we have lots of
We
taxes
have
here,
vacancy
right?
tax.
Vacancy tax. I'm not going to make up any taxes.
We
Those
have
are
a-
real taxes.
Yeah.
So no,
Taxes on taxes.
that's right, because we have a fuel tax, and then they put like our provincial tax on top of the fuel
top of
tax
that,
after
yeah.
we paid. All right, I'll stop now. Number 2, retirement considerations.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, people leaving the. I know, like I don't know. We know Victoria for a lot of Albertans move this way for retirement, and people from Ontario, other
Sure.
places.
But they've built their lives there
Yeah.
and taken that life that they've built and built it in such a way that they can come here to retire.
Retire to the ocean, right? They
Right.
all want, yeah.
But I know some that have retired here and then they've left and gone back.
I've got clients that, hey, Patrick, come sell my house, sell my condo, sell my whatever, mobile home, and then they go buy a house in Alberta somewhere.
Yeah, and some
amazing. It's
right?
awesome.
And I know some of them that have people that have come here, they've just gone back because they couldn't, like it just wasn't a good fit for them,
So that's fair,
right?
Yeah.
Just in terms of building friendships and that whole thing where they said, and then one specific friend of mine, he said this is nothing like I expected it to be, in terms of just how he said how easy it was for him to make friends and grow his business and everything else in Alberta versus
Yeah.
coming here
It's challenging for a lot of
on the
people.
island.
Yeah.
He's talking about. So okay,
All right. Number 3, employment opportunities could be considered limited in BC, right? We have certain industries. We don't
Yeah.
have everything, right? So yeah, people leave for job opportunities.
Yeah.
How many people work in the oil fields,
Yeah.
but they're from, let's say, Victoria.
yeah,
Lots of people
fly in, fly out.
fly in, fly out.
You
right?
know, and for the Victoria, and I can't speak to Vancouver so much or other parts of the province, but Victoria's economy is basically driven by IT, government, and tourism.
That's it. Not to say that other professions might fit in there, but like on a limited scale.
Yeah.
Let's say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, natural disasters. Now we got BC wildfires all the time.
Sure.
Every summer, that's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Mind you, last summer, my daughter wanted to go on a road trip, so we were going to drive back to Alberta instead of flying, which we did the year before, to visit family and everything. And the week that we were had planned to leave, I think we were going to leave on Thursday, and Tuesday they closed all the highways because of the forest fires.
yeah.
And I'd said to my daughter, the other thing is I don't want to end up getting there. We managed to somehow make it through, and now we're stuck.
Right, because you don't know how long this is going to last.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and the interior has a bigger problem with wildfires than, let's say, on Vancouver Island. Like, it still happens.
Yeah.
We have very dry summers.
And we also have the rain issue, right?
And-
Talking about, we'll get to that after, I guess. But when you talk about
That's
natural
next, yeah.
disasters, where we had the flood and the
Oh, yeah, we had like a
Malahat.
200-year rain or whatever.
whatever it was, the
Oh, yeah,
Malahat
the road
got
was
shut
washed
down,
out.
right? Yeah.
Like,
And then-
we lost a whole lane.
yeah.
Like, on the way up
On the Malahat, yep. And then we had, like, I remember hilarious. That was when we were rationed for gas.
Oh, yeah, my neighbor, like, hey, Patrick, you better go get gas. So it's like, okay, I'll go get gas. And then we never ran out.
Well, it's hilarious. The guy in front of
we
me.
did it anyways,
I'm,
right?
I'm stopping at a gas station to get my whatever it was back then. It was 25 liters or something. I think was the max, or it was about to go to that.
Yeah.
The guy in front of me pulls up. He's in his big white van, and he's pulling out jerry cans out of the back of the van, and filling up all the jerry cans and putting them into the van. And I couldn't help but think, bro, it's not really that bad that you're needing to load up the back of your van with gas. But he may have been the same one that loaded up the back of his van with toilet paper too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, right?
But anyway.
But oh, do you remember that? I saw pictures, totally photoshopped, of the Malahat like full of water, and there's like an orca jumping out of like the water on the highway. All right, moving on.
That was natural disasters, right?
Natural disasters, earthquakes.
I think that's overrated.
I'm gonna get the number wrong. In the last 6 months, there was like 400 earthquakes reported in BC.
But they weren't major. Like I remember,
not yet.
In all the time that, so I've lived here now for going on 12 years, I think.
Okay.
I recall one time that there was enough of an earthquake that it moved my bed.
Yeah, I've noticed three or four times where it's like, what's that? Oh, that's an earthquake.
Like I was sleeping and I was like, oh, okay.
2 of those times I was on the toilet. What's going on? All right, moving on.
Oh man, too much information.
Weather. Yeah, and again, like BC is a huge province of vast different kinds of terrain.
Yeah.
Obviously, it goes up north. There's more snow and that kind of thing. But we're like, whatever, 90%, 95% of the population is like the Lower Mainland, Vancouver, Victoria.
Yeah.
And along the highway, right?
Yeah, Kelowna and all that out that way as well. And then, of course, if you go to Prince George, now the weather's like Edmonton.
Oh, right, but now we're up north. Yeah. So yeah, it depends. Like if you're in the desert, like it could be dry, Kelowna, whatever.
So
over in that direction, and then the rest of like where most of us live, it's wet.
Yeah.
Vancouver's wetter than here.
Yeah.
We keep bragging about that, but
yeah. And the flip side of it is, this week over the holiday time and everything, we had a whole bunch of rain, then it was not so bad, then a whole bunch of rain, and then it was not so bad, and then we had the extreme winds here the other night and stuff. So
yeah. Well, yeah, we didn't say natural disasters. You touched on flooding, but yeah, with all this rain. Some areas are more prone to flooding than others.
Yeah.
And there's a flood map. At least I know for Vancouver Island. I haven't checked for other places.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a really good flood map that we have access to. Some government body runs that. All right, moving on. Limited access to healthcare.
Yeah.
I know we talked about
Yeah.
We have really good hospitals. We have really good doctors.
There's just not many of them.
Or
not enough of them.
Good luck getting a family doctor if you're not from here. Like if you didn't grow up here and already have one.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Well, here's the other side of that. We had family doctors.
Yeah.
One of them retired. Here in BC or in Victoria, we've had family doctors. One of them retired, and the other one moved to Nanaimo. Which at the time we should have just said, "Well, we'll go with you. we'll drive up for appointments."
Yeah. It's not that bad. Like it's not that far away.
Yeah, because I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it ended up being trying to find another doctor.
But this is part of the challenges of living in BC.
Sure. And in Victoria, let me put some things in perspective. If you want to just to go get checked for something, short of going to emergency, in the West Shore, there's what is it called?
There's like an emergency clinic.
Whatever it is. You have to line up there at 7 a.m.
Oh, and take a number.
And get a number.
Like at the deli.
Yeah. If you're not there at 7 a.m., you won't, that's when the lineup starts. So you line up at 7, you get in at 8, they give you a number and tell you when to come back. So it's like at
least it's a system.
Yeah, but if you're trying to be productive that day, you're not going to do anything else.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather have that number and then I could go do something.
Right.
And then I could come back like before that time comes up.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're totally right. Number 7, educational opportunities.
That's why people are leaving? I think we have pretty good... that's interesting because I think we have... certainly there are going to be other great opportunities.
I'll explain.
But I know like UBC and UVic have good reputation. We have TRU in the area on the island as well.
We have some amazing post-secondary education institutions. I'm not saying that we don't have it. We don't offer everything.
Okay, yeah.
So our universities, our colleges don't offer every program that people might want.
Yeah.
And it's very competitive to get in there at the same time.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of foreign exchange students.
Right.
So that's a whole different conversation
Yeah.
that we could talk about. But
Sure.
that was my point. My wife actually went to Toronto for college.
Okay.
So because the programs weren't offered here.
Okay.
And maybe because I was living there at the time, possibly.
Okay.
But all right, this little bit on to like maybe hard to make friends or hard to settle in. Changing community dynamics. That's very general.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it like this: if you've lived in an area for a long time, and all of a sudden it's not the way you used to remember it,
Right.
now we're going to say overdevelopment.
Welcome to Langford.
Yeah, it's not the old dog
Not
patch that
what
used
you
to
grew
be.
up with. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is not your father's Oldsmobile.
like a Delta 88 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I had, my second car was a Cutlass Supreme, which my dad bought it brand new, so they had it in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Such a hot rod though. Like I crushed it, but
Big motor.
oh man.
You crushed it.
Yeah, but I was pretty hard on cars back in the day.
No, you don't tell us about stories at all.
I used to go through a car every 2 years.
Okay, that we'll save that for another story. I'm gonna wrap this up, and it's talking about cars. The traffic sucks,
Yeah,
and this kind of goes along with like it's not what it used to be, right?
yeah, and I think this also depends on where you are, because we're talking about BC in general.
BC,
traffic is
yeah.
different in different parts of the province. We've talked about this repeatedly. How one of Victoria's traffic issues is that we don't have the infrastructure to handle a whole bunch of traffic, because Victoria was never a big city, never designed to be a big city.
And we don't have the room either, because we're on an island.
Yeah,
There are
and
only
it's
so many ways we can
sure,
get
and
around.
it's all rock. So if you want to build an overpass, it involves a lot of dynamite and a lot of extensive excavation and cost that goes with all of that. So
We need a double-decker highway. They've got one on Burlington Street in Hamilton,
Okay.
where there's a highway above, like there's like a 50 km/h speed limit down below. It's in the industrial section.
yeah,
And,
I know.
And
that-
we've never driven extremely fast on there, because there's like hardly any on and off ramps on that thing, and it's
Yeah.
traffic. But that's like, you know what? If I'm gonna use some local examples. Oh, you use that fire example. So there's other things that can affect traffic flow, right? That's kind of like, welcome to Mother Nature. You're at the whim of that
yeah,
traffic.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the
If you're
BC
going-
ferries
here's-
is a
here-
highway, right?
Oh,
So that's a
yeah.
whole other
That's
conversation.
another- yeah.
But
Here-
flooding, trees falling down on the roads,
Or how about-
UFO abductions.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
right? How about just trying to drive out to Souk sometimes?
I don't want to.
Right? But sometimes you go out to Souk and it's like, we call it the Sukhahala.
It's a Sukahala.
And then there's other times you're driving out there and
It's like the Colwood parking lot or
Right?
Suk parking lot.
Right.
Yeah.
so because even though now it's better in theory, because where it's the 2 lanes over by Kangaroo Road and
It's
all that.
slowly
in there,
improving, yeah.
And Gillespie and all that. But otherwise it's 1 lane.
Yeah. Well, we can't improve it until it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
That's how we get government funding for things.
sure.
All right, let's wrap it up there. Those are the reasons. Those are some of the reasons
Some of the reasons,
why people are leaving BC in record numbers.
In record numbers.
So
but it's not really that much of a record.
it is what it is.
It is what it is. So, all right. Well, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're putting out 3+ episodes every week, so you don't want to miss anything. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about, or maybe you say, hey, I want to buck that trend and I want to move to Victoria, give us a call or reach out to us in the comments, and we're happy to help you with that. If you want to talk about what your home is worth in the Victoria area, if you want to talk about other options on the island, we can help you with all of those things.
Yeah, if you want to go with the flow and exit the province, we can help you with
can
that.
help you with
especially
that.
if you're here in Victoria.
Yeah,
or,
and even if you're maybe you're looking to move your business here, I can help you with that in terms of finding lease space or even just finding business opportunities here. We're happy to help.
it's good opportunities to buy a brewery. Right
Yeah,
now,
absolutely, there are.
I think.
Yeah, for sure. And that's because I have it listed. So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you in the next video.
See ya.
Bye-bye.